Hello there, and welcome. Tonight, we will gently explore the world of dinosaurs, creatures that lived millions of years ago, in a time when the Earth was warmer, quieter, and very different from what we know today. Some were enormous, others were small and delicate. Some walked in groups, and others moved alone through forests and open land. As you listen, allow your mind to slow down, your breathing to soften, and your thoughts to drift calmly through these ancient landscapes. If this kind of content helps you relax, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment to support more stories like this. Now, let's begin. When people first imagined dinosaurs, they were often described as giant, scaly reptiles, heavy and rough, almost like oversized lizards moving slowly across the land. This image stayed popular for many years, especially in books and early films. But over time, new discoveries began to quietly reshape this idea in a much more delicate and surprising direction. In northeastern China, particularly in the Liaoning province, scientists uncovered fossils preserved in very fine volcanic ash, a type of environment capable of capturing extremely small details. Around the bones of certain dinosaurs, paleontologists noticed soft, hair-like impressions. At first, there was doubt, but repeated discoveries confirmed that these were early forms of feathers. One of the most well-known examples is Sinosauropteryx, a small dinosaur covered in a fuzzy layer rather than scales. According to lesser-cited excavation reports from the IVPP, Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology and Paleoanthropology, some of these feather traces even suggest faint banded patterns along the tail. These were not flight feathers, not designed for flying through the air, but simple filaments likely used for warmth, display, or sensing the environment. This changes how we imagine their presence completely. Instead of hard, silent creatures, we can begin to picture lighter bodies, soft textures, and subtle movements through quiet landscapes. There is something unexpectedly gentle about that image, as if the past was not only powerful, but also soft in ways we are only beginning to understand. The idea that birds are living dinosaurs may sound unusual at first, but it is one of the most widely supported concepts in modern paleontology. This understanding did not come from a single discovery, but from many small observations slowly connecting over time. Early comparative studies, including those inspired by Thomas Henry Huxley in the 19th century, pointed out structural similarities between birds and small theropod dinosaurs. Later, fossils like Archaeopteryx, discovered in Germany, added an important piece to the puzzle. This animal had clear feathers and wings, yet it also had teeth, clawed fingers, and a long bony tail. It existed in a quiet middle ground between what we traditionally call dinosaurs and what we recognize as birds. More recent anatomical comparisons, including notes from smaller museum archives and teaching collections, show that modern birds still carry these ancient features in subtle ways. Their hollow bones, their three-toed limb structure, and even their breathing system connect them to their prehistoric relatives. When a bird walks, pauses, and tilts its head, there is a rhythm to its movement that feels ancient. It is not dramatic or obvious, but it is there. Seeing a bird in everyday life becomes a different experience when you realize you are not just observing a modern animal, but the continuation of a story that began millions of years ago, moving forward quietly, without interruption. For a long time, the colors of dinosaurs were left mostly to imagination, and that imagination tended to be conservative. Artists and scientists often chose shades of gray, brown, or dark green, based on comparisons with reptiles like crocodiles and lizards. But this assumption began to change when researchers started examining microscopic structures preserved in fossilized feathers. These structures, called melanosomes, are responsible for color in modern animals. By comparing fossil melanosomes with those found in living birds, scientists can make careful estimates about ancient coloration. Some of these findings appear not only in major journals, but also in more specialized microscopy reports and university lab publications that are less widely discussed. These studies suggest that certain dinosaurs may have had reddish tones, dark striping, or even contrasting patterns along their bodies. One small dinosaur, Anchiornis has been reconstructed with black and white wings and a reddish crest on its head based on this kind of analysis. Color in animals is rarely random. It often serves a purpose, whether for camouflage, communication, or attracting attention. Imagining dinosaurs with soft variations of color, subtle patterns, and natural tones makes their world feel more alive, but not louder. Instead, it feels more detailed, like a quiet landscape where every creature carries its own gentle design, shaped slowly over time. For a long time, people imagined dinosaurs as creatures that simply laid eggs and walked away, leaving their young to survive on their own. This idea came partly from how many reptiles behave today, but fossil discoveries began to suggest a quieter, more attentive side to some dinosaur species. In Montana, in the United States, a site studied extensively by paleontologist Jack Horner revealed something unusual. There were large nesting grounds containing many nests, arranged in organized patterns, almost like a colony. Inside these nests were the remains of baby dinosaurs that were not fully developed, meaning they were not ready to leave the nest right after hatching. This dinosaur was later named Maiasaura, which means good mother lizard. Field notes and regional excavation reports describe how the spacing between nests suggests that adults moved carefully among them, possibly bringing food to their young. Some nests even showed signs of repeated use, as if the same area was returned to over time. This behavior is more similar to birds than to most reptiles. It suggests patience, awareness, and a kind of quiet care. Imagining these scenes changes the emotional tone of the dinosaur world. Instead of only danger and survival, there were also moments of protection, stillness, and gentle attention between parent and offspring. While bones often receive the most attention, footprints, known as trace fossils, offer a different and sometimes more immediate glimpse into the lives of dinosaurs. These impressions were left in soft ground, such as mud or sand, and later hardened into rock over millions of years. In places like the Paluxy River in Texas, long trails of footprints have been uncovered, showing paths that stretch across ancient landscapes. Some of these tracks appear in parallel lines, suggesting groups of dinosaurs moving together in the same direction. This has led some researchers, including those contributing to regional geological surveys rather than major journals, to consider the possibility of herd behavior or migration patterns. In other cases, there are trackways where a larger set of footprints follows smaller ones, hinting at a quiet moment of pursuit between predator and prey. The spacing between steps can even give clues about speed, showing whether an animal was walking calmly or moving quickly. What makes footprints especially interesting is that they capture a moment, not just a body. They show movement, direction, and interaction. It is almost like seeing a brief scene frozen in time, a silent story pressed into the ground and carried forward across millions of years. Dinosaurs did not always look the same throughout their lives, and in some cases, the differences between young and adult individuals were so large that they caused confusion among scientists. Early fossil discoveries sometimes led researchers to name entirely new species, only to later realize they were looking at younger or older versions of the same animal. One example often discussed in museum bulletins, such as those from the Royal Tyrrell Museum, involves Pachycephalosaurus and similar dumb-headed dinosaurs. Younger individuals had flatter skulls with small bumps or spikes, while adults developed thick, rounded domes. Over time, careful comparison of bone structure and growth patterns helped scientists understand that these were stages of development, rather than separate species. Growth in dinosaurs could involve changes in size, shape, and even behavior. A young dinosaur might have moved differently, eaten different food, or stayed in safer areas compared to an adult. This idea adds depth to how we imagine their lives. Instead of static creatures, they were constantly changing, adapting as they matured. There is something quietly familiar in that process, a reminder that growth, in any time period, often comes with transformation that is gradual, complex, and not always immediately understood. Not all dinosaurs had the same kind of brain, and for a long time, people assumed that most of them were not very intelligent. This idea came partly from early estimates that compared brain size to body size, especially in very large dinosaurs. However, more careful studies began to show that the picture was more complex. Some dinosaurs, particularly smaller theropods, had relatively larger brains compared to their bodies. A frequently mentioned example in older Canadian field reports is Trudon, a small predator whose skull suggests a brain size proportionally larger than many other dinosaurs. Researchers working with endocasts, which are natural or digital molds of the inside of the skull, have tried to understand how these brains were structured. While this method does not show thoughts or exact intelligence, it does give clues about senses like vision and balance. Some findings suggest that certain dinosaurs had developed areas related to coordination and awareness. This does not mean they were smart, in the human sense, but it does suggest they were more alert and responsive than once believed. Imagining a dinosaur that is quietly aware of its surroundings, noticing movement, light, and subtle changes in the environment, creates a calmer and more realistic image than the old idea of slow and unthinking giants. Closely connected to brain size is the idea of behavior, and this is something scientists continue to study carefully. While it is difficult to prove exactly how dinosaurs behaved, certain fossil patterns offer clues. In some excavation sites, bones of the same species are found together in ways that suggest group living. In other cases, there are repeated patterns in nesting areas or trackways that hint at coordinated movement. Some smaller academic discussions and field notes, especially those not always highlighted in major publications, explore the possibility that certain predators may have hunted in groups, though this remains debated. Even without clear proof of organized hunting, survival in a changing environment likely required learning and adaptation. Dinosaurs would have needed to recognize danger, find food, and navigate their surroundings. These are not simple tasks. When you think about it, even modern animals show a wide range of behaviors without needing human-like intelligence. It is reasonable to imagine dinosaurs acting in ways that were practical, responsive, and quietly effective, shaped by millions of years of gradual change. Fossils are one of the main ways we learn about dinosaurs, and their formation is a slow and rare process. When an animal dies, it is usually broken down by the environment, but in certain conditions, it can be buried quickly by sediment like mud or sand. Over time, minerals replace the original material, preserving the shape of bones or even softer tissues. Some lesser-known excavation reports from university field teams describe how delicate this process can be, where even a small shift in conditions can determine whether something is preserved or lost forever. In rare cases, impressions of skin, feathers, or even stomach contents have been found. These details provide a deeper understanding of how dinosaurs lived, what they ate, and how they moved. Fossils are not complete stories on their own. They are more like pieces of a puzzle, scattered across time and geography. Scientists carefully study, compare, and interpret these pieces to build a clearer picture. There is something quietly remarkable about the idea that a shape pressed into the ground millions of years ago can still be seen and studied today, offering a connection between distant time and the present moment. Even today, the story of dinosaurs is not finished. New species continue to be discovered in different parts of the world, often in places that are still being explored or where new techniques are being used. Countries like Argentina, China, and regions of Africa have become important sources of recent findings. Sometimes these discoveries are first described in local scientific bulletins, regional journals, or university publications before becoming widely known. This means that important information can exist quietly for some time before reaching a larger audience. Each new discovery adds another piece to the broader picture, sometimes confirming what scientists suspected, and other times challenging previous ideas. In some cases, a single new fossil can change how an entire group of dinosaurs is understood. This ongoing process makes the study of dinosaurs feel active rather than complete. It is not just about looking back, but also about continuing to learn. There is a calm kind of excitement in knowing that the past still holds secrets, and that slowly, carefully, those secrets are being uncovered, one discovery at a time. Not all dinosaurs moved alone across the landscape. Evidence suggests that some species lived and traveled in groups, a behavior that may have offered protection and increased chances of survival. This idea comes from both fossil bone beds and trackways found in different parts of the world. In places like Alberta, Canada, large collections of the same species have been found together, sometimes in positions that suggest they were part of a herd before a sudden event, like a flood. In addition, long lines of fossilized footprints show multiple individuals moving in the same direction, at similar speeds. Some regional paleontology reports describe how smaller dinosaurs often appear in the center of these trackways, while larger ones seem to surround them, possibly offering protection. Living in groups could help dinosaurs watch for predators, find food more efficiently, and care for younger members. This kind of behavior is common in many animals today, from elephants to birds. Imagining a group of dinosaurs moving slowly together across an open plain creates a calm and steady image, one of quiet coordination rather than chaos, where each individual is part of a larger, shared rhythm of movement. While some dinosaurs likely lived in groups, others appear to have spent much of their time alone. This idea is based on fossil evidence that shows individuals found separately rather than in clusters. Large predators, in particular, are often discovered as single skeletons, which may suggest solitary behavior. Studies mentioned in smaller excavation summaries and field journals propose that hunting alone could reduce competition for food, especially in environments where resources were limited. Being alone does not necessarily mean being inactive or disconnected. A solitary dinosaur would still need to be aware of its surroundings, watching for both prey and danger. It may have followed quiet paths through forests or open land, moving carefully and conserving energy. Many modern animals, such as big cats, behave in similar ways, relying on patience and timing rather than group coordination. This creates a different kind of image, one that is quieter and more focused, where the dinosaur moves through its environment with calm attention, responding to small changes in sound, light, and movement. Life for a baby dinosaur was not easy, and survival often depended on the first few days or weeks after hatching. Many dinosaurs were born from eggs, and once they emerged, they faced a world full of potential dangers. Fossil evidence shows that in some species, young dinosaurs were quite small compared to adults, making them vulnerable to predators. Some nesting sites, described in detailed field notes from North American excavations, suggest that many eggs did not hatch successfully, and even among those that did, not all young survived. In species where parents stayed nearby, the chances of survival may have been higher. In others, the young may have had to move quickly, hide, or rely on instinct from the very beginning. Growth rates in some dinosaurs appear to have been relatively fast, which could have helped them reach safer sizes more quickly. Imagining these early moments of life brings a softer and more fragile perspective to dinosaurs, where survival was not guaranteed, and each small step forward mattered in a quiet and constant way. All known dinosaurs reproduced by laying eggs, and these eggs varied in size, shape, and structure depending on the species. Fossilized eggs have been found in many parts of the world, often grouped together in nests. Some are small and round, while others are more elongated. Studies from sites in Mongolia and Argentina, including reports that are sometimes less widely circulated outside academic circles, show that eggshell thickness and arrangement can reveal details about nesting behavior. In some cases, eggs were partially buried, possibly to help regulate temperature. In others, they were arranged in careful patterns, suggesting deliberate placement. The inside of fossil eggs has occasionally revealed tiny skeletons, offering a glimpse of dinosaurs before they were even born. This stage of life, quiet and still, is often overlooked, but it is where every dinosaur began. Thinking about a large, powerful animal starting as something small and enclosed adds a sense of continuity, where even the most massive creatures once existed in a calm, protected beginning. The idea that certain dinosaurs hunted in groups has been discussed for many years. Though it is still not fully settled, Some fossil sites show multiple predators found near the remains of a single large prey animal. In places like Utah, discoveries involving dinosaurs, such as Deinonychus, have been described in excavation reports that suggest possible group activity. The positioning of bones has led some researchers to consider whether these predators work together, perhaps surrounding or overwhelming larger animals. However, other scientists caution that these groupings could also result from separate individuals being drawn to the same food source. Even with this uncertainty, the possibility of coordinated hunting remains interesting. Working together could increase success, while also requiring awareness of other individuals. This does not necessarily mean complex planning, but it may suggest simple forms of cooperation. Imagining a group of predators moving slowly and quietly, each aware of the others, creates a scene that is calm but focused, where movement is measured and purposeful rather than chaotic. Some dinosaurs had eyes that were proportionally quite large compared to their heads, and this can tell us a lot about how they experienced the world. Large eyes are often linked to better vision in low light, which suggests that certain dinosaurs may have been active at dawn, dusk, or even during the night. Fossil skulls, especially those studied through careful reconstruction and scanning techniques, show the size of the eye sockets, which gives clues about the eyes themselves. In some smaller theropods, these sockets are especially noticeable. Reports from detailed anatomical studies, including lesser, known university research collections, suggest that vision may have been one of the most important senses for these animals. Being able to detect movement, shadows, or subtle changes in light would have helped them avoid danger or find food. Imagining a dinosaur moving quietly in dim light, guided by wide, attentive eyes, creates a calm and focused image. It suggests a world where seeing clearly, even in softness and shadow, was part of daily survival. Not all dinosaurs had sharp teeth. Some species develop beak-like structures, similar to those seen in modern birds and turtles. These beaks were often used to clip plants, crush food, or handle different types of vegetation. Fossils of dinosaurs like Oviraptor and some plant-eating species show clear evidence of these hard, toothless mouthparts. In certain excavation notes from Mongolia, researchers describe how the shape of the beak can indicate diet and feeding style. Some beaks were narrow and pointed, while others were broader and stronger. In some cases, these dinosaurs may also have had internal grinding structures or swallowed small stones to help break down food. The absence of teeth does not mean weakness. Instead, it reflects a different way of interacting with the environment. Imagining a dinosaur gently pulling leaves or carefully selecting food with a beak creates a quieter and more deliberate image, one that feels steady and unhurried. Claws were an important feature for many dinosaurs, and their size and shape varied depending on how they were used. Some claws were curved and sharp, likely used for catching prey or gripping surfaces. Others were larger and more robust, possibly used for defense or digging. One of the most striking examples comes from a dinosaur called Therizinosaurus, known for its extremely long claws, which could grow over a meter in length. While it may look intimidating, some studies suggest these claws were not primarily for hunting, but perhaps for pulling down branches or stripping leaves. This idea appears in various paleontological discussions, including smaller conference papers and regional findings. Claws could also serve as a form of display or protection. Thinking about how these structures were used adds a layer of quiet function to their appearance. Rather than being only dramatic, they were tools shaped over time, each with a purpose that fit into the rhythm of the dinosaur's daily life. While some dinosaurs are known for large, sharp teeth, others had much smaller ones, adapted for very different diets. These smaller teeth were often found in plant-eating dinosaurs or species that consumed softer food. Fossil evidence shows rows of tiny, closely packed teeth that worked together almost like a grinding surface. In some cases, as teeth wore down, new ones would grow to replace them, ensuring that the animal could continue feeding effectively. Observations from dental studies in paleontology, including detailed but less publicized lab analysis, highlight how these teeth were arranged and replaced over time. This system allowed dinosaurs to process large amounts of plant material efficiently. It also suggests a slower, more continuous style of eating. Imagining a dinosaur calmly chewing or processing food throughout the day creates a steady and repetitive rhythm, one that fits into a peaceful and ongoing cycle of nourishment. Every dinosaur species had its own unique way of living, shaped by its body, environment, and needs. Some were built for speed, others for strength. Some lived in open plains, while others stayed near forests or water sources. Fossil discoveries from different regions show how varied these lifestyles could be. In some lesser-known regional studies, researchers describe how even small differences in bone structure can suggest changes in movement or behavior. This diversity means that the dinosaur world was not uniform, but full of different patterns of life existing at the same time. Each species followed its own quiet path, adapting slowly over generations. Thinking about this variety creates a broader and more balanced picture. Instead of focusing on a few well-known dinosaurs, it opens space for many different forms of life, each moving, feeding, and existing in its own steady and natural rhythm. Many dinosaurs had long tails, and these were not just extra body parts without purpose. The tail played an important role in helping them balance, especially when walking or running. In two-legged dinosaurs, the tail acted almost like a counterweight, keeping the body steady as they moved forward. Fossil skeletons, particularly those carefully reconstructed in museum collections and described in detailed anatomical notes, show how the tail aligns with the rest of the spine in a straight and supportive way. This suggests that movement was more controlled and stable than we might first imagine. Instead of dragging behind, the tail was often held up and used actively. In some cases, muscle attachment marks on fossil bones indicate that tails were strong and flexible. This would allow dinosaurs to adjust their posture smoothly, whether they were turning, stopping, or changing direction. Imagining this, movement becomes less heavy and more fluid. A dinosaur walking across open land, its tail gently shifting to keep balance, creates a calm and steady rhythm where each step is supported by quiet coordination. The Ankylosaurus is one of the most recognizable armored dinosaurs, and one of its most interesting features is its tail. At the end of this tail was a large, bony club often compared to a hammer. Fossil evidence shows that this structure was made of fused bones, forming a solid mass. Studies described in various paleontology reports, including some less widely known field analysis, suggest that this tail club could deliver powerful swings. It may have been used to defend against predators, especially large ones that might try to attack from behind. The rest of the Ankylosaurus body was also covered in thick armor plates, creating a strong outer layer of protection. Together, these features suggest a dinosaur that relied on defense rather than speed. Instead of running, it likely stayed calm and used its body as a shield. Imagining this dinosaur standing quietly, protected and steady, with its heavy tail ready to move if needed, creates a sense of strength that is not aggressive, but grounded and controlled. Several types of dinosaurs developed natural armor as a way to protect themselves from predators. This armor came in different forms, including bony plates, spikes, and thick skin. These features are known as osteoderms, and they were embedded in the skin, forming a protective layer over the body. Fossils of armored dinosaurs, such as Ankylosaurus and others, show patterns of these plates arranged in rows or clusters. Some smaller excavation reports and regional fossil descriptions note how these structures vary between species, suggesting different levels of protection and flexibility. In some cases, spikes extended outward, possibly making it more difficult for predators to approach. This kind of defense suggests a slower, more stable lifestyle, where avoiding danger was more important than escaping quickly. Imagining a dinosaur covered in natural armor brings to mind a quiet resilience, where protection is built into the body itself, allowing the animal to move through its environment with a sense of steady security. The Stegosaurus is known for the large plates that ran along its back, forming a distinctive and unusual shape. These plates were not flat against the body, but stood upright in 2 rows. For a long time, scientists debated their purpose. Some early ideas suggested they were used for defense, but their structure indicates they may have been too fragile for that. More recent interpretations, including those discussed in museum archives and lesser-cited anatomical reviews, suggest that the plates may have helped regulate body temperature or been used for display. Blood vessel patterns inside the plates support the idea that heat could move through them. This might have allowed the dinosaur to release excess heat or absorb warmth from the environment. The plates may also have changed color slightly if blood flow increased, creating visual signals. Imagining this, the Stegosaurus becomes less of a rigid figure and more of a living system, quietly interacting with its surroundings through subtle changes in heat and appearance. The Triceratops is one of the most well-known dinosaurs, easily recognized by its 3 horns and large frill at the back of its head. 2 long horns extended above its eyes, while a shorter one sat above its nose. Fossil evidence shows that these horns were made of bone, and likely covered with a layer of keratin, similar to the material in modern animal horns. Studies from fossil sites in North America, including detailed field reports that are not always widely discussed, suggest that these horns could have been used for defense, but also possibly for display or interaction within the species. The large frill may have helped protect the neck or served as a visual feature to communicate strength or maturity. The structure of the skull shows that it was strong enough to handle impact, leading some researchers to consider the possibility of controlled head-to-head contact between individuals. Imagining the Triceratops, standing calmly with its head lowered slightly, its horns forming a natural frame, creates a sense of presence that is powerful but not chaotic, steady and deeply connected to its form. The Tyrannosaurus rex is often remembered for its large, sharp teeth, but what makes them especially interesting is how they were built and used. These teeth were not just sharp like knives, they were thick, strong, and slightly curved, designed to handle great pressure. Fossil studies, including detailed bite mark analysis found in lesser-known excavation reports, show that T. rex could crush bone, not just cut through flesh. Some broken fossils of other dinosaurs even carry deep tooth marks that match the shape of T. rex teeth. Unlike animals that chew their food, T. rex likely tore off pieces and swallowed them. Its teeth were also constantly replaced throughout its life, meaning damaged or worn teeth would not be a long-term problem. This creates an image not just of strength, but of efficiency. Instead of constant movement or aggression, it may have relied on short, powerful actions followed by long periods of rest. Imagining this dinosaur, still and watchful, then suddenly decisive, gives a sense of controlled energy rather than endless activity. The velociraptor is often shown as a large and dramatic predator in movies, but in reality, it was much smaller, closer in size to a turkey. Despite its size, it had features that made it an effective hunter. Its body was lightweight, its legs were built for speed, and it had a long tail that helped with balance while moving quickly. One of its most notable features was a curved claw on each foot, which may have been used to grip or pin prey. Fossil discoveries from Mongolia, including detailed field notes not always widely circulated, describe a famous specimen where a velociraptor and a protoceratops were found locked together, suggesting a moment of struggle. This gives a rare and direct glimpse into interaction. Rather than being overwhelming in size, the velociraptor represents precision and agility. Imagining it moving quickly but quietly, adjusting its steps with care, creates a more focused and controlled image of a predator that depends on timing and movement rather than strength alone. Not all dinosaurs were slow or heavy. Some were built for speed, with long legs and light bodies that allowed them to move quickly across open ground. Fossil footprints have been especially useful in understanding this. By measuring the distance between steps and the depth of the impressions, scientists can estimate how fast a dinosaur was moving. Some trackways suggest speeds that would be surprising, especially for animals of their size. Reports from regional geological surveys describe long, consistent stride patterns that indicate steady running rather than short bursts. Fast movement could help dinosaurs escape predators, chase prey, or travel across large areas in search of food. This adds a sense of motion to the prehistoric world that is not chaotic, but rhythmic. Imagining a dinosaur running across a wide, open space. Its steps, even and balanced, creates a feeling of flow where movement follows a natural and steady pace. In contrast to fast-moving species, many dinosaurs were large, heavy, and moved more slowly. These animals often had thick legs and wide bodies designed to support their weight. Fossil skeletons, along with footprint patterns, suggest that their movement was steady and deliberate rather than quick. Dinosaurs like large sauropods likely walked at a calm, consistent pace, conserving energy as they traveled. Some studies found in detailed museum records indicate that their bones were structured to handle long periods of standing and slow movement. Being slow did not mean being weak. Their size alone could protect them from many predators. This creates a different rhythm of life, one that is unhurried and continuous. Imagining a large dinosaur moving slowly through its environment, each step firm and grounded, gives a sense of calm stability, where survival is based on presence and endurance rather than speed. The Brachiosaurus is known for its long neck, which allowed it to reach high vegetation that other dinosaurs could not access. Unlike some other long-necked dinosaurs, its front legs were longer than its back legs, giving its body a slightly upward slope. This posture helped it lift its head even higher, possibly reaching the tops of trees. Fossil reconstructions and anatomical studies, including some discussed in specialized research archives, show that its neck was supported by strong muscles and a series of connected vertebrae that allowed both strength and flexibility. Rather than constantly moving, it may have stood in one place for long periods, slowly feeding on leaves. This feeding style suggests a calm and efficient way of living. Imagining a Brachiosaurus standing quietly, its neck extended upward as it gently pulls leaves from tall branches, creates a peaceful image, one where movement is slow, steady, and closely connected to its surroundings. Some of the largest dinosaurs reach sizes that are difficult to fully imagine. Certain long-necked dinosaurs, like Argentinosaurus, are estimated to have been longer than a city bus and as tall as a multi-story building when they raised their necks. These estimates come from fragmentary fossils, often just a few massive bones, studied in regional reports from Argentina where many of these discoveries were made. Even with incomplete skeletons, scientists can compare proportions with better, known species to understand their scale. These dinosaurs likely moved slowly due to their size, but their presence alone would have shaped the environment around them. Trees may have been bent or cleared as they passed, and the ground itself would have felt their weight. Despite this, their lifestyle was probably calm and steady, focused on feeding and moving gradually across large areas. Imagining such a massive animal existing quietly, without urgency, creates a contrast between size and behavior, where something enormous can still be gentle in its daily rhythm. While many dinosaurs were enormous, others were surprisingly small, some no bigger than modern birds. Fossils of these smaller species have been found in fine, grained rock that preserves delicate bones. In some cases, these discoveries come from lesser, known dig sites and smaller institutional collections that focus on microfossils. These tiny dinosaurs often had lightweight bodies, thin bones, and features that suggest quick movement. Their small size may have helped them hide, move through dense vegetation, or escape larger predators. Some may have lived in trees or near forest floors, feeding on insects or small plants. This contrast in size shows how varied the dinosaur world truly was. Not everything was large and dominant. Imagining a small dinosaur moving quietly through leaves, almost unnoticed, adds a softer and more detailed layer to the prehistoric environment, where life existed at many different scales at the same time. A large number of dinosaurs were herbivores, meaning they fed only on plants. These dinosaurs developed different adaptations to handle their diets, depending on the types of vegetation available. Some had flat teeth for grinding leaves, while others had beaks for clipping branches. Fossilized plant material found near dinosaur remains as well as wear patterns on teeth, help scientists understand what they ate. Some lesser-cited paleobotanical studies even analyze ancient pollen and plant fragments to reconstruct the environment these dinosaurs lived in. Eating plants required long periods of feeding, as plant material provides less energy than meat. This means many herbivorous dinosaurs likely spent much of their day slowly eating. Imagining this creates a calm and repetitive rhythm, where feeding is continuous and unhurried. Large groups of plant-eating dinosaurs moving and feeding together would have shaped the landscape in subtle and steady ways. Other dinosaurs were carnivores, feeding on other animals. These dinosaurs had features suited for hunting, such as sharp teeth, forward-facing eyes, and strong limbs. Fossil evidence, including bite marks and preserved stomach contents, provides clues about their diet. In some regional excavation reports, scientists describe bones with clear signs of being bitten, matching the shape of known predator teeth. Carnivorous dinosaurs likely had to balance energy use carefully, as hunting requires effort and does not always succeed. This suggests that they may have spent long periods resting or observing before acting. Rather than constant motion, their behavior may have involved patience and timing. Imagining a carnivorous dinosaur waiting quietly, watching its surroundings, creates a sense of stillness before action, where movement happens only when necessary. Dinosaurs lived during a period of Earth's history that stretches back over 65 million years. This span of time is difficult to fully grasp, as it is far beyond human experience. Their existence covered multiple geological periods, during which the Earth itself changed slowly, including shifts in land, climate, and plant life. Information about these time periods comes from layers of rock, studied in both large and small geological surveys around the world. Each layer represents a different moment in Earth's history, preserving traces of life from that time. Dinosaurs lived, evolved, and disappeared long before humans existed. Thinking about this creates a sense of distance, but also connection. The ground we walk on today holds layers of this ancient past beneath it. Imagining the slow passage of time, where entire worlds rise and fade quietly, adds a deep and calm perspective to the story of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs existed for an incredibly long stretch of time, far longer than humans have been around. They first appeared over 230 million years ago and continued to live on Earth for more than 160 million years. To put that into perspective, humans have only existed for a very small fraction of that time. This information comes from geological studies that analyze layers of rock and the fossils found within them, including detailed timelines discussed in stratigraphy reports that are not always widely read outside academic circles. Over these millions of years, dinosaurs changed, adapted, and spread across the planet. Entire groups appeared, evolved, and disappeared long before others took their place. This was not a single, unchanging world, but a long, slow sequence of different environments and life forms. Imagining this passage of time creates a calm sense of continuity, where life moves forward gradually, without urgency, shaped by forces that act slowly and steadily over immense periods. Dinosaurs and humans never lived at the same time. This is an important idea, even though stories and movies sometimes mix them together. Dinosaurs disappeared around 65 million years ago, while early humans only appeared millions of years after that. Evidence for this comes from fossil records and the layers of rock in which they are found. Human fossils and dinosaur fossils are always separated by many layers, each representing long periods of time. Some educational field reports and regional geology guides explain this clearly by showing how different fossils belong to different depths in the Earth. This separation helps scientists understand the timeline of life on our planet. Thinking about this creates a sense of distance, but also clarity. Dinosaurs belong to a much earlier chapter of Earth's history, one that ended long before human life began. It reminds us that the world has gone through many quiet changes before reaching the present moment. Dinosaurs were not limited to one region. Fossils have been found on every continent, including Antarctica. This tells us that they were able to adapt to many different environments. During the time of the dinosaurs, the continents were arranged differently than they are today, often closer together, which made it easier for species to spread. Geological and paleontological studies, including regional mapping projects, show how land masses slowly shifted over time. Dinosaurs lived in forests, plains, deserts, and near water sources. Each environment shaped how they lived, what they ate, and how they moved. This wide distribution shows their adaptability. Imagining dinosaurs in different parts of the world, each living quietly within their own environment, creates a broad and balanced picture, where life is spread across the planet in many forms, each following its own steady path. During much of the time when dinosaurs lived, the Earth's climate was warmer than it is today. There were no large ice caps at the poles, and temperatures were generally more even across the planet. Evidence for this comes from studies of ancient plant fossils, sediment layers, and chemical traces preserved in rocks. Some lesser-known paleoclimate reports describe how certain types of plants found in fossil records suggest warm and humid conditions, even in areas that are cold today. This warmer climate allowed vegetation to grow in many regions, providing food for herbivorous dinosaurs and supporting entire ecosystems. The environment would have felt different, not extreme, but stable and consistent over long periods. Imagining this world brings a sense of gentle continuity, where seasons may have been softer and life moved in steady cycles influenced by a warm and supportive climate. Among the largest dinosaurs were herbivores that spent most of their time eating plants. These giants, such as long-necked sauropods, could reach sizes that made them some of the biggest land animals to ever exist. Their large bodies required a constant intake of food, and they likely spent many hours each day feeding. Fossil evidence, including tooth wear and gut-related findings discussed in specialized research notes, suggests that they processed large amounts of vegetation. Their size may have protected them from most predators, allowing them to live with less fear of attack. Despite their scale, their movements were probably slow and steady, conserving energy as they traveled and fed. Imagining these enormous animals calmly moving through landscapes, reaching for leaves and continuing forward at a measured pace, creates a peaceful image where size does not mean chaos, but instead a quiet and enduring presence. It is very common for people to think that all large ancient reptiles, especially those that could fly, were dinosaurs, but this is not entirely correct. Creatures like Pteranodon and Quetzalcoatlus are often grouped with dinosaurs in popular imagination. Yet they belong to a different group called pterosaurs. These animals lived at the same time as dinosaurs, sharing the same environments, but followed a different evolutionary path. Fossil evidence, including detailed skeletal comparisons found in specialized anatomical studies and lesser-known aviation biomechanics papers, shows that their wings were made of a stretched membrane supported by a very long finger, unlike the feathered wings of birds. Their bodies were also lighter and adapted specifically for flight. Some pterosaurs were incredibly large, with wingspans comparable to small airplanes. Yet their bones were hollow and thin. Imagining them gliding slowly through warm prehistoric skies adds another layer to the world of dinosaurs. But it is important to understand that they were neighbors, not the same kind of animal. This distinction helps build a clearer and more accurate picture of that ancient world. Just as flying reptiles are often confused with dinosaurs, so are the large reptiles that lived in the oceans. Creatures like Mosasaurus and Plesiosaurus are frequently called sea dinosaurs. But scientifically, they are not true dinosaurs. They belong to separate groups of marine reptiles that adapted to life in water. Fossil discoveries, including detailed marine sediment studies and regional oceanic excavation logs, show that these animals had bodies shaped for swimming, with fins instead of legs and streamlined forms similar to modern aquatic animals. Some had long necks, while others had powerful jaws filled with sharp teeth. They lived in seas that covered large parts of the Earth during the time of dinosaurs. This means that while dinosaurs walked on land, other reptilian giants ruled the oceans. Imagining this creates a layered world where land, sea, and sky were all occupied by different forms of life, each moving in its own quiet and natural rhythm. One of the most widely accepted explanations for the extinction of dinosaurs involves a massive asteroid impact. Around 66 million years ago, an asteroid is believed to have struck the Earth near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Evidence for this includes a large crater called Chicxulub, as well as a thin layer of rock found around the world containing high levels of iridium, a material more common in space than on Earth. Some detailed geological reports, including those from regional drilling projects, describe how this layer appears suddenly in the fossil record, marking a clear boundary in time. The impact would have released enormous energy, causing fires, shockwaves, and global disruption. While the event itself was sudden, its effects unfolded over time. Imagining this moment is not about chaos, but about a turning point, where one long chapter of life quietly came to an end and another slowly began. After the asteroid impact, large amounts of dust, ash, and particles were thrown into the atmosphere. This material likely spread around the planet, blocking sunlight for an extended period. Without sunlight, temperatures would have dropped, and plants would have struggled to grow. Evidence for this comes from climate models and sediment analysis, including lesser-known atmospheric reconstruction studies that examine tiny particles trapped in ancient rock layers. These findings suggest a period of darkness and cooling that affected ecosystems worldwide. This was not an instant change, but a gradual dimming of the environment. Plants, which depend on sunlight, began to decline, and this affected the animals that relied on them. Imagining this phase creates a quiet and somber image, where the world becomes dimmer, cooler, and slower as life adjusts to new and difficult conditions. As sunlight decreased and conditions changed, many plant species were unable to survive. This had a direct impact on herbivorous dinosaurs, which depended on plants for food. Fossil pollen studies, including detailed analysis from smaller paleobotanical research groups, show a sudden drop in plant diversity during this period. With fewer plants available, herbivores struggled to find enough to eat, and as their numbers declined, carnivores that depended on them were also affected. This chain reaction moved slowly but steadily through ecosystems. It was not a single moment, but a gradual unraveling of connections between living things. Imagining this process brings a sense of quiet change, where the balance of life shifts step by step, each part affecting the next, until the world becomes very different from what it once was. As plant life declined after the global changes caused by the asteroid impact, the effects slowly spread through the entire food chain. Herbivorous dinosaurs, which depended directly on plants, began to struggle first. Fossil records and extinction layer studies, including lesser, discussed sediment analysis from South American and Asian sites, show a sharp reduction in large herbivore populations. With fewer plants available, these animals could not find enough energy to survive. As their numbers decreased, carnivorous dinosaurs also faced growing difficulty, since their main food sources were disappearing. This created a chain reaction that moved gradually across ecosystems. It was not an instant collapse, but a slow and quiet decline. Some animals may have survived for a short time by adapting or moving to new areas, but the overall trend was clear. Imagining this period brings a sense of fading rather than sudden destruction, where life becomes less abundant step by step, until many species quietly disappear from the world. During this difficult period, smaller animals often had advantages that helped them survive. They required less food, could hide more easily, and often reproduced more quickly. Fossil evidence from post-extinction layers shows an increase in the remains of small mammals, birds, and other compact creatures. Some lesser-known ecological recovery studies describe how these animals were better suited to unstable environments, where resources were limited and conditions changed quickly. Their size allowed them to find shelter, conserve energy, and adapt more easily than larger species. This shift in survival patterns shows how different traits can become important depending on the situation. Imagining small animals continuing to move quietly through a changing world creates a contrast with the disappearance of larger dinosaurs, where survival becomes linked to simplicity, flexibility, and quiet persistence. While many dinosaurs disappeared, one group managed to survive and continue evolving, the ancestors of modern birds. These small, feathered dinosaurs already had features that may have helped them endure changing conditions, such as lightweight bodies, varied diets, and the ability to move efficiently. Fossil evidence from layers just above the extinction boundary shows early bird species continuing into the new era. Some detailed avian evolution studies, including those found in specialized ornithological archives, suggest that their ability to eat seeds and other available food sources may have been a key advantage. Over time, these surviving species diversified and spread, eventually becoming the wide variety of birds we see today. This means that the story of dinosaurs did not completely end, but instead continued in a quieter form. Imagining birds as living links to that ancient past creates a gentle connection between what once was and what still exists around us. Even though dinosaurs disappeared millions of years ago, they remain a strong presence in human imagination. They appear in books, films, museums, and educational materials around the world. This continued interest is supported not only by popular media, but also by museum outreach programs and smaller educational publications that aim to make science accessible. Dinosaurs capture attention because they combine mystery, scale, and deep time. They represent a world that is very different from our own, yet still connected through science. For many people, learning about dinosaurs is one of the first ways they begin to explore natural history. Imagining these creatures today is not just about curiosity, but about building a bridge between the present and a distant past, allowing us to think about time, change, and the diversity of life in a calm and reflective way. The story of dinosaurs is not complete, and it continues to grow with each new discovery. Fossils are still being found in many parts of the world, sometimes in places that have been studied for years, and sometimes in entirely new locations. Advances in technology, such as scanning and imaging techniques, allow scientists to learn more from existing fossils without damaging them. Some findings first appear in smaller academic reports, regional journals, or field notes before becoming widely known. This means that important pieces of information can emerge quietly, adding detail over time. Each discovery helps refine what we know, sometimes confirming earlier ideas and sometimes changing them. This ongoing process makes the study of dinosaurs feel active and open. Imagining this, the past is not something fixed, but something that continues to reveal itself slowly, inviting us to keep learning and observing with patience and curiosity. And now, as our journey comes to a close, the world of dinosaurs slowly fades into the distance once again. These ancient creatures, so different and yet quietly connected to life today, remind us how much the Earth has changed over time. Let your thoughts settle, let the images soften, and allow your body to rest more deeply. There is nothing more to follow, nothing more to do, only the quiet continuation of sleep. If you enjoyed this journey, you can return anytime and continue exploring one calm story at a time. Good night.